NFL Week 1 recap and Week 2 look-aheads in the props market. Welcome to Winning in the Shadows. I'm Andy. So what I want to do here for the rest of the season is I want to try and do videos where on Tuesday we kind of just go back and look at some of the props and some of the things that we noticed in Week 1 and see how it can affect us in Week 2. So I just want to go, kind of look at the box scores here a little bit and see if there's some notable takeaways. So we'll start real quick with the Ravens and the Chiefs. Lamar Jackson had a good day passing, only threw for 1 touchdown. I do like this Derrick Henry touchdown prop every week. Hopefully we keep getting a good number. He's just going to be the one that pounds the ball once I get inside the 5. And this is kind of what I expected. Not very fast anymore. 3.5 yards per carry, but he is the guy that is going to be the one that scores the touchdowns. Isaiah Likely is going to be the big, waiver wire pickup in fantasy football leagues. I'm not willing to go all in that, he's going to do 9 catches for 111 yards. But it's pretty noteworthy there. For Kansas City, I know Xavier Worthy got the got kind of some of the praise and most of the attention. But to me, it's this Rashee Rice, 7 catches, 103. It looks like he's going to be the go-to guy. Travis Kelce, we know they're going to save Kelce's wear and tear and utilize him in the playoffs. I think Rashee Rice is just set up for such a big year. Pacheco, the 3.0 yards per carry is not very good, but it is against Baltimore. Again, he's the guy that gets a touchdown, so maybe Pacheco props is pretty good on that one. So I don't have a whole lot of groundbreaking takeaways for the Ravens and the Chiefs. Packers and Eagles, of course, this one's going to be tough with Jordan Love. I really don't know what to expect from the Packers. I'm probably not going to be betting on them. Jalen Hurts did not get a rushing touchdown. I would come back and play him. He almost had a tush push and they fumbled the snap. So no way that they don't work on that and fix that. I would play Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown every week. I think you're going to hit that at 65, 70%. So as long as you're getting a good price, I would keep playing that. Saquon looked amazing, of course. I think the passing game is a little bit more of what we expected. So A.J. Brown had a big game. Devonta Smith had a big game. So Hurts definitely looked a lot more he looked a lot more healthy than he was at the end of the year. So that was encouraging. So we'll look at the Steelers and the Falcons. Yikes. Not a lot of offense there. This Fields, as long as he's playing, you got to look at his rushing yards. If it's less than 60, you got to take it. 14 carries was pretty amazing. Najee Harris, this is his backfield. Jalen Warren only gets 2 carries. So maybe Najee Harris, looking at his rush attempts total, could be pretty good. As far as receiving, Freiermuth didn't do much, but I know there was worries that he was practicing with the third, the third string practice squad. 4 catches. Pickens obviously has a good one. This Pickens' longest catch. He's just an explosive guy. Him and Jalen Waddle seem to hit their overs all the time. So George Pickens, that might be good. Panic time for the passing game. Kyle Pitts only has 3 catches. Drake London only has 2 catches. Kirk Cousins looked terrible. I don't know how much longer they're going to stick with Kirk Cousins after that. But as long as they are with Kirk Cousins, you just got to know that he's just not going to be mobile, and he did not look good throwing the ball. He didn't seem to plant very well. So, again, not a whole lot of amazing takeaways from that one. Cardinals and the Bills, I do have some good takeaways on this one. James Conner, I'm kicking myself not playing the James Conner touchdown prop. Like, the guy just scores touchdowns like every game, and he's always at like plus money. Trey Benson only got 3 carries, but this is James Conner's backfield, so taking him to score a touchdown, absolutely. Kyler Murray didn't do much with throwing the ball. Greg Dortch was the leading receiver. I don't know. Better days ahead for McBride and certainly for Marvin Harrison. That being said, Marvin Harrison, not only did he not have good production, the eye test was really bad. Kyler Murray was visibly upset with him. So I don't know what his stats are going to look like going forward, but only getting 3 targets and 1 catch for 4 yards is rough. So Buffalo passing was interesting to see what they look like without Diggs, without Gabe Davis. Keon Coleman looked pretty good, had a 28-yarder. only had 51 yards, and this is just one of these things where it's like, I think it's going to be hard to pick who gets the yards. It's just going to be a lot of everything. How many guys caught a pass? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys catching passes, nobody over 51 yards. So I did love James Cook's role in the offense. Josh Allen's already hurt his hand. I don't know if we see 9 carries. Maybe Josh Allen just can't help himself, but I would expect Ray Davis and James Cook to be a lot more featured, especially on the short week. Let us go to Titans and Bears. My biggest takeaway from this one is DeAndre Hopkins is hurt. He's going to be hurt the rest of the year. I don't see these stats getting a whole lot better. So unders for me. Tony Pollard looks like this is his backfield. So 3 catches for 12 yards. So what is that? 19 touches. Pretty good. Levis to throw an interception is just a prop I really missed on this weekend. I don't know why I didn't play Levis. I'm not high on him. People argue with me. I just don't see it. Caleb Williams was not good. Kind of a split backfield here a little bit, but actually, I say that. Khalil Herbert only got 2 carries. DeAndre Swift only 10. This is a bad offense. Unders galore for Chicago moving forward, especially with going up against the Houston Texans. Let's do Patriots and Bengals. Jacoby Brissett under passing yards. I mean, they didn't even really try to pass the ball. His carries is interesting, like his rushing attempts. That might be an interesting one. Big workload from Ramondre Stevenson, but they were in control of this game. So I don't know if he gets 25 carries if they're down. I can't make any conclusions about the receiving game. Bengals, again, off to a rough, slow start. Zach Moss only gets 9 carries. Chase Brown, 3. They have 16 rush attempts, and Joe Burrow, that's just 4 of them. I will say, Burrow tucked and ran a lot better than he did last year. I would hope Burrow's rushing total is below 10 yards. I will absolutely play that again. He ran quite a bit. Not having T. Higgins made a big difference. Jamar Chase, they just focused everything on Jamar Chase. So, Bengals offensive props might be a little dicey moving forward. Texans and Colts. Stroud, we hit his over 1.5 touchdowns. I was amazed at how much success Houston had rushing the ball. I thought you attacked the Colts through the air. I was wrong about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Stroud, played well and had, a lot of completions, but they just opened a lot of holes on the Colts defensive line, which I did not expect. So good job by them. And then I'll have to monitor the Colts defense and see if their rush defense is just way worse than I thought they were going to be. I think this is just going to be tough to figure out the Houston wide receivers. 1 week it's going to be Collins. 1 week it's going to be Dell. 1 week it's Diggs. This is just going to be really, really tough. I love that Joe Mixon had 3 catches for 19 yards. The absolute bell cow running back. He's not going to get 30 carries, obviously. Anthony Richardson was interesting. Only 9 completions, but that's going to happen when you land a bunch of long passes. So, Jonathan Taylor didn't do much yards-wise on the ground, but he did get a lot of carries. Better days ahead for Pittman. I hope to get lower numbers on Pittman, and then maybe they lower his receiving total, and then he's the one that catches the long pass. So, I'd be interested to see what Anthony Richardson's attempts are. Only 19 attempts in a shootout type of game. That's not very many, but of course, again, long completed passes. But if he doesn't complete those, I wonder what that number looks like. Jaguars and Dolphins. Here we go again with Trevor Lawrence under 1.5 touchdown passes. I keep thinking he's got to throw 2 touchdown passes. Then he never does. Bigsby at 6.1 yards per carry and ETN at 3.7 with the crucial fumble is concerning. I don't know what to make of the Jacksonville receiving game, passing game. Ingram was terrible. We didn't expect that. Tua, again, 338 yards, but the under 1.5 touchdown passes. The under 1.5 touchdown passes cashes, even though he, threw for 338. Running back is interesting. A-Chain's hurt. Mostert's hurt. Maybe this is the Jeff Wilson week. I don't know. We'll have to monitor that. Jalen Waddle had a nice game. Tyreek Hill had a nice game. With A-Chain hurt, I think Waddle probably gets even more looks. I would look at Waddle over his receptions this week, depending on what's going on in the Dolphins' backfield. Panthers and Saints. I don't know if there's a lot of takeaways that you can have with this game. I mean, this game was over before you know it. So um, I will say Rashid Shaheed. We talked about playing his over longest catch every game, and he easily hits it early. Now it's against the Panthers. So the ghost of Adam Thielen still comes alive with 49 yards to lead the team. Deontay Johnson may be under as long as Bryce Young continues to play quarterback because Bryce Young looked terrible, and Deontay Johnson is he's a quick receiver that kind of depends on timing, and Bryce Young just isn't there. So maybe unders there. Running game was awful, but I don't know what else to make of the New Orleans. Vikings Giants, our guy Sam Darnold got over 2 touchdown passes. He would have had much better stats if this game was remotely close, but my God, the Giants are awful. Aaron Jones looked great. I snagged him kind of later in a fantasy draft, and I was like, man, there's a potential he could look better than we all think he is. And he did look good. I know it's against the Giants, but looked explosive, looked really good. Um, yeah, not a lot to make. Once the Vikings got up, they kind of bled out the clock. Um, I did a free play on Singletary over 11 and a half receiving yards. I like seeing these 4 catches. I will tell you, the Giants play Washington this week. I would look at Neighbors. We'll get to Washington. Their secondary is awful. But Neighbors had 5 catches for 66 yards. He should have a nice game this week. So that was at least a little bit encouraging. Raiders, Chargers. Zamir, 3.2 yards running the ball was pretty bad. Here we go again with Jacoby Myers. There's another one I regret not playing. Myers just always, by hook or by crook, he just gets there. They just leave him open, and he gets over. Bowers with 6 catches was really, really nice sign if you believe in Brock Bowers. 58 yards is great. I would look at his receptions instead of his yards over, but I probably will look to Myers again. The guy, he's a great same game parlay piece. He always gets a few catches, one big one. So, big story for the Chargers is this 1-2 punch of Edwards. They ran for 6.5 yards a carry. Obviously, Dobbins with the long run. It was amazing how tired Dobbins got there at the end, but he looked good. I know it was against the Raiders, but Dobbins is obviously the guy that you want to have. I guess Lad McConkey is the wide receiver you want to have. I think it's still probably wait and see. Palmer was banged up coming into it, but I don't think you're going to see some big time numbers from Justin Herbert this year. Broncos and Seahawks. I didn't think Nick's was as bad as his numbers suggest. I mean, they just like threw him to the wolves like you're throwing a bunch. Let's get this rookie like season underway and let's see if you sink or swim. He didn't seem scared of the moment. He had some bad moments, 2 interceptions, but this is a really good Seattle defense. The fact is, Broncos, if Tyler Lockett doesn't make that amazing catch for the first down at the end, Bo Nix has a chance to get the get the win. I would be terrified about this running game here. Jaleel McLaughlin 10 for 27. Javonte Williams only gets 8 carries for 23 yards. Someone asked about Javonte Williams catches 2.5. I said I would lean under, and that wasn't even close. So I am going to be looking at Cortland Sutton over his receptions moving forward. 12 targets is a ton. Obviously, the accuracy wasn't there, but it's a rookie quarterback. So Kenneth Walker looked good, and it's already week 1, and now he's dealing with an injury. I guess it's like core injury. I don't know. Monitor that one. I can't take a whole lot away from the passing game. So the big takeaways from Seattle passing game. Cowboys and Browns. Deshaun Watson are under on Deshaun Watson passing yards. Looks fantastic. Jerome Ford did get the touchdown. I am kicking myself. I didn't play Jerome Ford over his receiving totals. Most catches, only 25 yards, but it would have easily cashed on that one. Jerry Jeudy may be in wasteland. So, Deshaun to throw an interception was another missed opportunity. Dak didn't have to do much. So, Zeke, Zeke gets the touchdown. They just love him some Zeke when they get inside the 5. So Zeke to score a touchdown was like 2-1. It was great plus money. I didn't think Dowdle looked that good. So I just don't. There's probably not a whole lot to take away from this from this Dallas offense, except Zeke to score a touchdown. They're just going to give it to him when they get in close. So uh, big takeaways. I thought the Commanders' secondary was going to be bad coming into the season, and they were worse than I thought. Godwin ate him up. Mike Evans ate him up. This Rashad White over 21 receiving was easy, easy. I did think Bucky Irving looked good on the ground. Rashad White's just this guy that he's really good at passing. He's good at running, but I think Bucky Irving's going to get some really nice usage for in the running game. Baker over his rushing hit. That was kind of interesting to see. Baker's not going to throw 4 touchdowns every week. This was just a fantastic matchup. Jaden Daniels looked terrified to throw the ball. He tucked and ran way too much. 16 carries for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. I got him on a fantasy team. I was loving it. NFL-wise, that was terrifying. It just did not look comfortable throwing the ball. I mean, of his 17 completions, 7 went to Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler. So, it's tough to tell guys like Jaden Daniels to not run when they're like the fastest guy on the field. So I do think his rushing total is going to be interesting. But Terry McLaurin, I think he's going to be easy to cover for other teams because I don't think they're going to have to do much to cover him. I don't think Daniels is going to see him a whole lot. So I think McLaurin unders could be a way to look at that team. Rams and Lions. Now with Puka out, it's the Cooper Kupp show. I would lean Tyler Johnson could be a sneaky guy. He had some good moments. Kyron gets the touchdown, but just at 2.8 yards per rush on paper is not good, but Detroit's got a good offensive and defensive line. I thought the 2 running backs for Detroit just picked up where they left off. They can use them to run the ball and pound the ball. They can use them in the passing game. They just look great. Goff looked okay. Jameson Williams is obviously the big star. Better days ahead for Porta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. But the strength of this team is their running game. Very, very good. So if you think they're going to be up, I think you're playing David Montgomery over his rushing attempts. And finally, Jets and 49ers. I'm kicking myself that I didn't take Aaron Rodgers under his rushing total. His rushing total was 1.5. He didn't get there. Alan Lazard. Congrats to everyone that was on Alan Lazard to score a touchdown. Great call. Garrett Wilson, probably better days ahead. Breece Hall, I think he looked okay on the ground to me. It's just the 49ers are really good, which is fine. I think this offense is just going to improve as the season goes on, but they're obviously not there yet. For San Francisco, listen, if you think the 49ers didn't know McCaffrey was going to be out for like a week, come on. Even Jordan Mason said he knew he was starting on Friday. So they were open to everybody else, but they knew what was going to happen. So Debo, Ayuk got, the 49ers played this, they played this perfect. Trent Williams comes in late, so he didn't have to deal with the preseason. Ayuk comes in late, didn't have to deal with preseason, and they get a win. So they look pretty good. I don't know what the takeaways are here. I talked about Sauce Gardner under 3.5 solo tackles. As soon as I talked about it, it moved to 2.5. I would be looking at Sauce Gardner under the solo tackles again. They just do not go near him. You don't want to play the tackles and assists because he is in on some of them, but his one tackle was on a reverse where it was that broken reverse where Debo looped back around and Sauce Gardner gets it. That was his one tackle. Otherwise, he just, he wasn't there. So solo tackles under Sauce Gardner could be an interesting play the rest of the year. So, all right. So what does all that mean? Here's just some quick hits. Bills, Dolphins, and these are not official plays. I'm just telling you what my leans are going to be and to keep our eye open. So, Dolphins, I'm looking at Waddle. If those running backs are out, you look at Jeff Wilson. Buffalo, James Cook, I like to have a good game, but we'll see. Saints and Cowboys. It's at home. Dallas on the fast track. Expect a big game from CeeDee Lamb. Zeke to score again. Saints, Rashid Shaheed over his longest catch, maybe. Buccaneers and Lions. This will be an interesting game. I would lean under on the rushing yards for Rashad White. I would look to go over again. Lions, probably over rush attempts on Montgomery. As long as he's healthy, he's going to get, a lot of carries. Colts and Packers. My guess is Colts probably Jonathan Taylor over his rush attempts. If the Packers are really truly going to go with Malik Willis, it's not going to go well. So I expect the Colts to use the run game a lot. Jets, Titans. I think this Jets defense, they obviously didn't look good against San Fran. I think they're going to look fine against the Titans. DeAndre Hopkins unders for sure. 49ers and Vikings. Yeah, 49ers. If Mason's playing again, yeah, you probably are looking at him to go over again. If they put use checks to props out, yeah, you're probably looking at that. Vikings, I don't know what to expect. I would look at unders because they ain't playing the Giants this week. Seahawks and Patriots, no real takeaways on that game. Giants, Commanders, you got to look at some of the receiving props in this game. These two secondaries may be the two worst in the NFL. They were awful. Washington's the worst. I think Washington's the worst. But it's hard to trust these two quarterbacks in passing props, but there's some way to do it. Panthers and Chargers, my God, do I like J.K. Dobbins in this one. If the Panthers can't muster up any type of offense, Chargers are just going to bleed out the clock. Like Dobbins over, Gus Edwards over. Browns and Jags. I wonder what Tank Bigsby's props are rushing yards. I wonder if the books even give us a chance to do that. But I would look at Deshaun under his passing yards again. He looked awful. Raiders, Ravens. Zamir White under his rushing. I don't see them having much success against the Ravens. Rams and Cardinals. Hey, we could be in for another shootout. James Conner to score if it's plus money again. Yeah, absolutely. For the Rams, I like looking at some of their secondary receivers. We knew Cooper Kupp's going to get his, but I think you're going to go low total on the one guy we mentioned earlier. His name escapes me. Steelers, Broncos. This could be a really low scoring game. To throw an interception. Knicks to throw an interception. Yeah, absolutely. Najee over his rushing, probably. At least rush attempts. Bengals and Chiefs. I probably Rashee Rice over his receptions, maybe. Pacheco to score. I'll have to revisit that one, see. Bears and Texans. I would look at unders on the Bears receivers. Caleb didn't look great. I think the Texans are going to hold the ball for quite a bit at home. Excuse me. I would look for another pretty decent mixing game. Under on Caleb Williams is passing. I think the Texans are going to be okay with taking him out. And then Falcons, Eagles. Depends on who. If they're going to roll with Kirk Cousins again, you're just taking unders. You're taking unders again on some of his receivers like Drake London. And for the Eagles, I would go back to Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown. You probably go back to Saquon, but books are going to make you pay a heavy, heavy price on that one. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. That's your week one recap with the week two look ahead. Leave a comment. Tell us if you got any things that we should take note of or any good thoughts that you might have. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now. And if you have not joined the Discord, Winning in the Shadows, go ahead and do that now. Lots of great free plays. We have a 5% cross-sport parlay that is up. And if you're watching this on Tuesday, we have a $5 play that is up for Thursday Night Football. It's going to be a big week of profits. Really, really good week of profits. I love this Thursday night game, and I love the play that we have there. And I love the 5% cross-sport parlay that we have for this week. So really good betting opportunities. It's going to do it. Good luck. We'll see everyone later.